Okay, Eric, tell us a little bit about yourself, my friend.
Hello, everybody. Eric Levanduski. Thank you.
Hey, Eric, a little closer.
Oh, sorry. Definitely a full circle moment here, so thank you so much. Born and raised here in Traverse City. I actually live 10 minutes from here. So if you have anybody who's looking to move here, I'd love to be your guy.
There we go.
I've been in the business this is my 8th year. Part of the Brick and Corbett team, who a lot of us are back in that corner back there, rah-rah.
Awesome group.
I've also been the sales coach of our team for a little over 12 months.
All right. And you've gone through, kind of similar to Jonathan Drisdale, Prospecting Boot Camp 2022, one-on-one coaching since 2022, Sales Rocket 2022, Buyer Business Accelerator, 76 Hard, Listing Mastery, Team and Brokerage Building, Social Media Mastery. You've been through a lot.
Yes.
Why do you keep coming back?
Simply, and it sounds a little weird, I enjoy being the dumbest person in the room.
Okay.
I enjoy being in situations where I know I'm going to grow based on the information that I'm getting and the people around me.
Yep.
Right? So, I mean, the more I can grow, the more I can lead and pour into, the agents that I lead, everybody around me in my personal and professional life. So,
well, thank you for that. And I think that's probably very wise of you. A lot of wisdom in that statement. What I noticed during our prep call, you're the sales leader and coach for this successful team, which the team in Traverse City, and you can't go anywhere without seeing their signs, 243 units for 112 million in volume, and that's big numbers. You can clap for that. Yep. This year, your team is on pace for 325 units and 200 million in volume in northern Michigan, which is a big deal. That's like really tough to do.
we have some badasses, let me tell you.
Yep. And by the way, you're working half time, and you're going to close 40 units for 14 million, which really, if you didn't have the sales director leadership role, that means you'd probably be somewhere around a 70 to 80 unit a year producer. Does that sound about right?
Yes, sir.
Yep. So we talked a bit about where your personal and team's business comes from. Talk to us about your first expired experience, because you weren't working them before we met. I know that.
Yeah. Justin, you ready, buddy? All right, so flashback, if anybody remembers 3 years ago, anybody that was here, Justin gave the keynote. He brought the jail cell, he brought the toilet. Ask him about the toilet. I won't go into that right now. And I was super inspired by that. That was my first event. I signed up for coaching immediately. And his prospecting boot camp was the first class that I joined. First off, shout out to Justin. If this is your first Glover, if you're getting into Glover for a first time or just don't know where to go, prospecting boot camp is definitely where you go. He did not pay me to say that, but
yeah, it's a great. If you're not in the position to afford one-on-one, it's a great gateway towards that.
Yeah, it's phenomenal. Anyway, so my first experience there actually wasn't an expired. I 10x'd my investment into prospecting boot camp within 45 days when I closed a FSBO. The very next outgoing call that I made was to an expired, had never done it before, had no experience, anything. I just started his class. And I remember sitting in my office with a buddy of mine who's not in here, Darius Norton, really good friend of mine. And I called, and I had the script right in front of me on the table. And, obviously when you're first getting into script reading and everything, you don't know how to make it your own. You're so green. You're just like, I'm just going to read it verbatim. I have no clue what I'm doing. I'm going to trust Justin. Why the hell not?
Why not?
And so I literally got this woman on the phone, read the script verbatim. Didn't switch, didn't do nothing.
Probably no voice inflection, no pauses.
No, it sounded horrible. And read the script verbatim. I get to the very end. She agrees to an appointment with me. I'm like, what the hell is going on? That was a $1.6 million expired. Thank you. The very next one, or at least within the next 5, I converted a 1.1 million expired, which I think ended up selling for like $950. So really what that taught me is just lean in, trust the process, and trust Glover you, really.
So how do you, now you teach your team to go after expires and FSBOs. So what are some of the techniques that you're teaching them?
Yeah, so big things on our team, we do a lot of script, role play, which we'll get in, to more detail of that a little bit later. With us, I feel like, or just anybody in general, I feel like the biggest gap is the brain between, okay, I want to call them, and picking up the phone and actually calling them.
Yeah.
Like mastering the script, not mastering, but learning the script, voice inflection, all these things are easier to me, I feel like. The biggest difficulty, even for people who have a ton of experience, which those who have a ton, including yourself, I'm sure can speak to it. There are days when, even when you completely know what you're doing, you don't want to make phone calls.
Correct. It's not like we don't wake up every day and say, oh my gosh, when I look at everything I got to do, prospecting and making outbound phone calls is absolutely something I'm looking forward to today. I cannot wait. It can't come here soon enough. I don't think there's anyone who says that.
The only person that I've ever met, and he knows his name is coming, that enjoys making outbound, cold texting or phone calls is Jeremy Fensky, and he is an absolute psychopath. He's back there in the corner right now. He's crazy. Anyway, so no.
You have to be a little insane to enjoy that.
If you've met him, you know he's clinically insane. Love you, buddy. Love you, buddy. Anyway, no, so we really just focus because I feel like our people are so good at getting into rapport, and once we get in front of you, we're great at conversion, we're great at explaining our value proposition. Really just the main thing is just reaching out and making the contact.
So phone calling still in 2025 is the number one source you're using, and you're teaching them how to get good on the phones.
Absolutely.
I love that.
Phone calls, texts, videos, we do all three.
So for any other leaders in here, or sales leaders, or owners of brokerages, teams, whatever, how are you using the Glover U system within your team?
Oh my gosh, where do I start? We have a database plan. I had spoken about our scripting and role playing and all of that. We actually did, and rip this off from you guys because I follow
That's what we're here for.
All of your stuff on social media. We did a mock multiple offer contest here in the last few months where we went from A to Z with the buyer consultation, the offer consultation, everything that you can imagine doing that we all know you have to do, literally, to get an offer across, talk to a listing agent, whatever, we did that. We're actually in the middle right now of getting ready to start our mock listing. Listing appointment, not really a contest because it's not really a win or lose to me,
it's like a challenge. We do it every other year with our team.
It's a learning experience. So again, from the time that the lead comes in to the time that the lead or the client at that point agrees to meet with us, and then next steps, setting up photos.
It's like your internal version of listing mastery almost.
Exactly. So just taking from A to Z and just making sure that we're
top 2 or 3 sources outside of expireds. You talked about how you guys are real big on events. Talk to us about that.
Yeah, so we now do a big event every quarter. And again, to me, the most important thing about the events isn't necessarily the people that show up. Don't get me wrong, that's a plus. Obviously, I like connecting with our people. But it's the touch points before and the touch points after. So just an example, here recently we have a semi-professional, baseball team, the Pit Spitters. And we did an opening night, kind of like you guys do with the Tigers. And we had, I think, almost 600 RSVPs. We checked in 506.
Okay.
So up until that event, we're touching our people, 5, 6, 7 times, whether it be video, whether it be text, whether it be an email. We use the Reach app, if anybody's familiar. Shout out Tommy Corbett, he's the one who. Reach is phenomenal, and it's free. It's a mass texting app. The value in client events is definitely just the touches.
Good. Open houses is another big one for you guys. You guys are always doing open houses. How do you leverage the listing? We have the 2-to-1 document that we shared this week. We're constantly looking at ways to, get more out of every single listing we take. How do you leverage that process?
Leveraging listings for us is huge because we have, over the last 12 to 18 months turned listing heavy, listing based, which is obviously what we all want. So the way that we leverage, the listing comes in, we're getting ready to go live. We're going to send out an invite to everybody in the neighborhood, inviting them to the neighborhood open house. I need to steal the Twilight idea. I haven't done that yet, so that's definitely going to be something that we implement. Obviously, we go live. We door knock around the open house, inviting neighbors and all of that, just introducing. And most recently, another shout out to Tommy, we had a listing somewhere in town, And he actually ended up door knocking around that. It's a super easy conversation. And he found, I believe it was around like another $1.5, $1.6 million listing just from door knocking.
Yeah, that's
So,
big. That's
yeah.
big. One of the things you said to me on the phone, which is a little different than what I've heard from maybe other panelists this year, or this retreat, is the culture between Brick and Corbett and how we operate at Glover U, and how you essentially insert that into the culture. It becomes part of the culture, and it's one of the things that you guys are known for, having a great culture. So what did you mean by that?
Yeah, so our culture has come a long way. If you're a leader, you know this. Culture takes a long time to cultivate and to work on. You got to get everybody to buy in. Getting the right people in places. Now we have a ton of our support staff is obviously, the brains, the heart, everything, in our business.
Yeah.
I also like to think that we have a culture of production.
Yeah.
A culture of productivity.
Yep.
Because again, the reason that we all get into this business is to make money,
Yeah.
live our unreal lives,
Yep.
and to not have to worry about when the next check is coming in, so we can
Yeah.
spend the money as we want.
Yeah.
So yeah, I forgot your
No, that's all right. When you talk about culture of production, it sounds so basic. Well, yeah, duh. Of course, you want a culture of productive agents, but a lot of real estate offices or teams, their culture is we have a lot of fun together, or we're a family, or we go on vacations together. Which some of those things are good, of course. But when you say culture of production, what do you mean specifically by that?
Got it. And let me start out by saying, we do love each other. We do have fun. We do all these things. Accountability has definitely been something that we've added, I'd say over the last 12 to 18 months. Tommy and I, we meet with our agents once a month. Each one of us meet with them once a month.
Yeah. So they're getting 2 one-on-ones per month.
2 one-on-ones per month.
Smart.
He's more big picture. I'm more granular. I'm contacts, I'm appointments, what issues.
You're the sales coach.
What issues are we having with scripting, all that stuff. Obviously, we do our script and our role play stuff. Business planning, all that stuff. I just want to make sure that our agents are not only happy, but reaching and exceeding their personal and professional goals, because that's why we do it.
Yep. And so, how many agents do you guys have here at this event?
Here at this event, I want to say we have 9 or 10.
9, and I know obviously it's pretty easy for you guys to get here.
Yeah. 10 minutes for me.
How many will you have in Phoenix? I'm putting you on the spot.
Ooh, that's a good question. I'm gonna say at least 10, hopefully more. I will drag people there if I can.
Okay, all right, you heard it. Hold them accountable to that. All right, Eric, let's hear for Eric. Nice job.